think we're streaming here. Let me see if the jingle singers are ready. Somebody's got to be ready.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
I think someone's been playing with the controls here. I'll get it figured out. Got 2 hours to do that, I think. In the meantime, we will be talking with the tube radio operators, the SWLs, here on the first Old Tube Radio Network of, what is this, 2021? Is it 2021 already? Well, that sounds good. I hope everybody is ready for the new year and has totally forgotten about 2020. We'll be taking your check-ins here momentarily.
Yay! Hello.
All right, that's better. Having a little trouble maneuvering around the Radio Shack here tonight. My name is Dennis. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, beaming and beaconing at 27085 Channel 11. Also on the Universal Media Netweb at oldtuberadio.net, and somewhere on a YouTube channel. I don't even know if it's a channel. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but on YouTube video somewhere. Get my headphoniums on straight. I think the jingle singers are out where they're supposed to be. I saw the limousine. There was a couple of limos in the parking lot tonight, so something exciting is going on. We will find out. We've got some totals. What did I do with my total sheet? Here we go. We've got some totals for 2020 that we'll go over. What do you think? What do you think the top three, the top five radios, most radios that checked in on the top five list for 2020? We'll talk to you about that, or give us your thoughts about who might have been number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got a lot of radios. Find out what the biggest night for SWL check-ins and radio check-ins as we go along tonight. So let me get started if I can find. I got the J38 key down here on the desk. The 1st of January, New Year's Day, is always straight key night. And so I don't know if you can see that. I've got one back there. Let me turn off the picture. But if you're watching the video, that right there is the J38 underneath the microphonium. And I've got another one here that I'm actually using. I don't want to pick it up. I'll break it. That I'm using to key the microphone. So see if it made it for straight key night. And I think tonight is RTTY night. So I'll have to listen and see if there's a lot of activity going on in the amateur bands as well. But we're concerned about 27085 and your tube radios, and we are looking for 00. Hello, Paul.
Hi there. You sound good tonight. 45.
All right, likewise, you're sounding good. We're starting off, if you're playing the home game, should be the third week on the roster. 122021 is what it says on my list here. And if I click the mouse, it'll say that you are checked in. Very good. Also, SWL number 1, of course, on the Cosmic Check-In is, I guess we start 36 years doing this. And Mr. OBP, who is out on the video side, saying Happy New Year's to everyone. Hello, thanks, Kevin. You're looking good out there. SWL3. You know, the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers had their meeting last night, and I missed it. It was a Zoom meeting. And I ended up working late, and I missed the Zoom meeting. So I'll give Rob a check-in. I wanted to see how things are going in for the Carp Club for 2021 in the virtual world. SWL4. SWL5. I did not see Ida this week, but I'm going to get her proxied in. I think she's around doing okay. SWL6. SWL7.
SWL7 checking in.
All right, sounding good. Out there in your air chair tonight. So I hope 2021 has started off okay.
Well, so far so good.
Yeah, well, like I said, we got plenty of time to wreck it, but certainly not planning on doing that. Got you checked in. Over to, who's next? SWL10. I should look over at my ever-popular scrolling list of things out there and see who is around. Coming up to some of our stations here tonight, there's Mr. OBP, see 44 and 21, Paul V is in, and the other Paul's there, Charlie Hustle in Baltimore, looking good in Baltimore, Private Thor's in. So we got a lot of people joining us here tonight. Next, we've got SWL13. SWL14. Shortwave listener number 15. SWL16, and that is Charlie and Anoka, who is, let me check the other board tonight. I thought I saw Anoka in there somewhere. Yeah, there he is. Hello, radio. Thanks for dialing us in. That is Zero Land. What is going on out there tonight? We'll tune in the radio and find out. Let's go over to Eric, SWL17. Might be jumping in on some mode of operation. SWL18, I got a proxy check-in from Facebook for Mr. KDA. And all of a sudden, I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on. SWL19, 14047 by way of Belfast. And he had to run out. He was right there at the top. And we sent him out to get something for the limousine. So he's back in. Up there. I see up there in the balcony there, Chet. Thanks for helping us out. The limo drivers, you know, we got to take care of them as well. So thanks for that. Let's go over to SWL20.
Number 20 here. Check in 2954 and 135.
Okay, I'll do that. I got 135 came in early on the crossband, so I'll make sure that he gets it checked in. And if your radio room is not too cold, I bet we'll be talking to you on some glow-in-the-dark radio.
Oh, yeah. And it's nice and warm in here now. Okay, we'll catch you after a while.
All right, very good. Let's see. We're on page 1. Over to SWL21, the world's longest ground rod, doing what it does best tonight on the old radio night tonight. And DD21 has got to have probably one of the big strap stations from Wasama Swamp and all over. It's just lots of skip. Tonight, he was hopping channels between AM and sideband. I'm trying to think if I've got a replay. Let me find the right screen here. If I got a replay of old radio night. Let's see if I've got it. it was chaos, I tell you.
Tiger Paul, 21, right back. Roger. All right, crazy man, I'm gonna go back to the flat side.
He's got flat sides. He's got vertical sides. Talking Skip on Old Radio Night tonight, and he was on the Light Cobra 2000 GTL and the reverse preamp Palomar 300A. Maybe that's what was doing it. Good conditions. We never have anything like that here, although there was some stuff on the sideband tonight. 21, we do have you checked in tonight. And I think he actually talked to Skip on some of the stations. Who did he talk with? I think I heard Brown Dog, some of the stations. So big strap station out there. SWL 22. Let's mark out in East Texas. Who's on the list tonight? We've got Kerman. There's Belfast, Dallas, Georgia coming up to you. Lanfar Ficken is there. I will figure out how to pronounce it. I'll do a Google pronounce on that out at the beach where it's cloudy, 42 degrees and 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun's just not quite up yet, but the radios are beaconing in perhaps. Hello to the gang out in Squamish. Waiting for some Skip. It was from Texas last night. It was coming in. So see what happens. Hello to Woodland Park, Colorado. Centerville, Virginia, as always. South Carolina. Freeport, and a host of others here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. How about SWL 23, the 23 Skidoo? Looks like it's right up in the queue here tonight. Hello, Mitch. Mitch has been doing, I'll have to remember to go over to the Facebook page. He has been pulling out the history books and doing some very interesting stuff. Checking in from Barstow. Okay. Yeah, when you're in Barstow, I know what's going on. Still cleaning up after the Espresso Trucking Company New Year's Eve gig at the truck stop. Hopefully they didn't get kicked out. Broken glass everywhere, and the tour bus may never be the same. You may have to bring it up here. We've got an inn. The Bob and Steve show has been setting us up with some very nice limousines. So maybe we can kick up ETC a notch or two, give them one of the six-door limos. Anyway, we are all excited that 2020 is over. Thanks, Mitch, for checking in. SWL 24. Shortwave listener 25.
Hello, Dennis 25. Checking in and Happy New Year. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
All right, Happy New Year. I missed Wednesday. I ended up working late, but I'll try and do better in 2021.
Roger.
And Jerry is one of the net controllers on the Wednesday evening net that's on 10 meters at 28,445 upper sideband, of course, that happens on Wednesday evenings, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone is welcome. There is a visitor check-in. So as the bands open up, or if you locally licensed, meet us up there at 8 for the Central Valley Radio Net, and you will hear some familiar voices, no doubt. Let me head over to the other page, and that would be SWL 27.
27's checking in via the FM crossband, KI6QL.
And I can hear you. Let's see. I got to grab the right microphones here. I can hear you through the crossband. You are sounding good, and we have you checked in 27, KB6GFD.
Roger.
Have to have more microphones than I know what to do with. That's Dwayne over on, let's see, on the crossband FM frequency. Over to SWL 28. Get my numbers mixed up. And up to the short hops up to Sacramento. Gary is in, saying Happy New Year to the gang and the group here, and let's start it off right with another great show. I hope so. I hope nothing is going to break. We will see. If not, the radios can take over. I really don't need to have me here. The radios will just do what we used to do 35 years ago and jump in on Channel 11 and have a great time. Elevator is fixed. The green room is open. Music is playing and waiting for the snacks. You know, the Costco card fixes everything, doesn't it? Thanks for checking in, Gary. I've got a proxy check-in for SWL 29. And 30 is in. Dwayne and Chris are in. They'll be in and out. They'll have the volume turned up, listening in. But they're busy. Sometimes that happens on a Saturday evening. You do get busy. So thanks for sneaking in to the radio room and getting checked in. SWL 31, Robert and Teresa out of Hendersonville. Don't see them on the list just yet, so I'll keep an ear out for them. SWL 32. SWL 33. That's myself, Bozo Control, the Jingle Singers, whoever else wanders in tonight. SWL 34. Not sure what's going on in Batavia tonight. See if Jimmy will make it in. He's probably got so many Facebook pages going. He's trying to get everything up and running, but I don't know how he does it. But he does. Let's try SWL 35. Mr. Bill is out and about. I saw him on the main page checking in from Cheyenne. Sounding good, Bill. Hoping to hear you on the airwaves here as the skip starts happening. Mr. Bill does have a very, he's like JT, he's got a very bodacious station, so when the conditions are open, we should definitely be hearing from him. SWL 36, SWL 37, SWL 38, SWL 39, SWL 40,
SWL 40, checking in at 54 degrees in Chinatown.
Yeah, it's warmer than I would have thought on a 2nd of January. I think because there may be some rain coming in. Clouds are coming in and keeping the heat in. Thanks for checking in. Then we've got SWL 41 checking in, Road Dog 507. Way over there on that other coast. Saying hello from the Hudson Valley of New York. Hello and Happy New Year. And over to SWL 42.
Yeah, it's Proxy and 42 in the gang.
Okay, we'll do that. It's always hard when things are lagging behind here. Also, let me check in. Let me change the camera here. Is the audio doing okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 radio. Okay, it looks like it's good. Looks like my audio might be down, but I think it's okay. I need to bring up the meters to see what has broken, to see what has changed. 42 is in. Let's see, SWL 43. I think I've got a note to Proxy in 43. Also, 650 is looking good on my meter, except I never did find out which way to turn it on the channel selector. It was kind of in between my good channel and my other channel. Next, we've got SWL 44.
44 checking in.
Hey, he's digital and he's live and direct. You have whatever it is you need to have pointed this way. It's sounding good. Over. All right, 44 live from the hill. And up on another hill, the guy that got us started off as 00, SWL 45. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Jerry. Hope you can hear me on this little carbon microphone. 45.
Yeah, it's got plenty of audio. We will be discussing tubes and carbon microphones coming up shortly, so don't go away. Let me go back up the page to SWL 31, where I see Robert and Teresa checking in. Over on the YouTube side. Hello there. Let me put up, where is it? Right up here. The SWL 31 banner. It's taken slow tonight. And then press the knob where it says you are checked in. There it goes. I don't know why it's so slow. one of our tubes must be bad up there. Over to SWL 46. SWL 47.
Well, good evening from Northwest Fresno. This is SWL 47 from the Radio Lounge, wishing everyone a happy 2021.
Indeed. Happy 2021. I had a quick question for you. I know you have been to the W1AW facility. Have you been to the the QE2 or the Queen Mary radio station as well?
Oh boy, I don't want to take up a lot of everyone else's time. I got to ask you why you're asking me that, and then I'll tell you why I'm asking you that.
All right. Well, I was just looking at some stuff the other day, and the Queen Mary came up, and in the back of my mind, I remembered talking to somebody about that, and I thought, well, maybe it was you, since you tend to get into these places. You've got the key. So, in your 25 words or less.
Okay. Number one, it's been forever since I've been to W1AW. I do have, I dug out for the first time in years my ARRL. I can't remember what anniversary it was, but some sort of their book or instruction manual that they have that's, I guess they were celebrating some sort of an anniversary, and if you gave them a good hunk of money, you could buy one of the manuals with your call sign engraved on it. I dug that out for the first time in forever, and right next to it, again covered in dust, was my little Queen Mary certificate that they'd given me after I had the privilege, and it was a privilege, make no mistakes about it, after I used their equipment. Boy, that was just delightful. So it's funny that you'd bring that up, because again, today was a lovely day of shredding paperwork and cleaning and all that good stuff, and I dug both of those relics up, and I thought, oh my God, these are two really awesome things. So again, as always, your clairvoyance has just struck an amazing chime here.
All right. Well, this is the shredding frequency, but all right, good. You made my memory isn't failing me, and I picked up a really good book. We'll talk about that later, but it mentioned the QE. So all right, very good. Mike 47 is also one that manages to get us the annual check-in from Christmas Tree Lane. Thanks for checking in. He's the OTR guy on the go, it seems like. Let's try SWL 48. Shortwave listener 49. Let me proxy him. Brian was out there. He made it out onto the Digibanks net last night. I think that's because it's probably the radio that has a sideband with the Collins filter on it. So, Brian, if you're listening, we got you and Sweet Country Mama checked in tonight. Sounding good last night in the Digibanks sideband net. Over to SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51, check in.
All right, 51. Dave out there near Sanger also sounded good on the sideband net last night. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
SWL 52. look for 52. He checked in last week from behind the, I think it was from behind the golden TV screen. SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. SWL 53 checking in.
All right, Bob, I heard you earlier, and it's still working. So put another nickel in and turn the crank. It's where it's sounding good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got the mobile radio going. I don't know what happened with those other radios, but I hope I got good audio there. So Happy New Year there, Dennis. Thank you.
Thanks for checking in the Old Tube Radio Network, where real radios will be glowing in the dark shortly. Stay tuned for that. Checking in SWL 54, Larry with the Cosmic check-in. SWL 55.
55 checking in. Can I proxy 65 at the appropriate time, please?
Okay, can do 55 at the microphonium, and I'll get Eric in a few when we head down the list here. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
Sounding good in this new year on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in, Phil. And next we've got, where am I on the list? 57. Central Kentucky, up in the queue. We're checking in between skip shots. The tubes are cooking the dinner in the shack. That's where we have, you wrap the filet up under the heavy duty. Make sure you use heavy duty aluminum foil when you place it on top of the Robin radio. And I think, I heard that. I don't think I had the replay queued up, but I heard Brown Dog checking in with DD21 tonight as the skip was rolling, as the world's largest ground rod punches a hole not only in the earth, but up through the ionosphere. All right, thanks, 57. Let's try SWL 58.
Proxy 58 in. He is doing the reading contest.
Yeah, I thought he said there was the reading contest going on. Let me see what's going on here. If I go over to that band, I got to go down. Let's try 40 meters. There you go. I do not have, that's all over 70, 50, 70, 45, where you might hear CW. I'm hearing the Riddy guys tonight. It's a contest on 40. So one of those might be. Yeah, one of those might be 58 out there. Keep the duty cycle on the amp when you're doing that RTTY, right? You got to keep the duty cycle the right way so you don't burn something up. Got Jeremy checked in. Over to SWL 59. SWL 60.
Let me find the mic. SWL 60 checking in on this DX 2527, Big Jake's bass.
Sounding good. You can never go wrong with that radio and that audio. Sounding good. We've got you checked in, and I know how it is when you're trying to figure which the microphonium is the right one.
I all of a sudden lost the microphone and remembered, hey, I'm on this radio. Hey, okay. Thanks a lot, Dennis.
Thanks for checking in. We've got radios coming up, the tube radios, so don't go away. Let's try SWL 61.
51 checking in, Dennis. Happy New Year to you.
21 is off to a good start. Started off with a bang, literally, like a whole bunch of bangs. And pops and fireworks and things like that, so it could be a good sign. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, sir.
SWL 62. SWL 63 out of North Georgia. Butterbean is in the house. I saw him on one of the charts up there. Yeah, from SWL 63. Sounding good here and also on old radio. Now, I'm hearing RTTY in the background. I can't get rid of it now. SWL 64. SWL 65. Oh, 65's got to check in. That's Marshmallow as per the order through the drive-up window just moments ago. SWL 66. SWL 67, Canby, Oregon. Bill, I saw you on earlier. I saw Canby was right at the top of the list. He must have left a note. No, he is right there. Still there. I got your note, and Bill wanted to be the first one to ride in the limousine tonight, up in the shotgun seat. So good for Bill. It was standing at the door. We let him in, and he's out there having a good time in the green room tonight. Let us know if you need to go all the way to Canby. I think we've got the long distance limo for you tonight. So no problem. Let's try SWL 68. I'm not sure I want to see the Costco bill on that one. SWL 69. Beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma. That is where Kenny is listening to us, watching us right now, probably on the video. Kenny, if you're checking in, I will check the comments and give you a thumbs up for sure. Thanks for listening in tonight. Then we go over to SWL 70. All right, I see what happened. I had the audio up so high it was bleeding through. SWL 70? SWL 71. Let's go over to 71 land, where Stan is at the RCA 44 microphonium saying hello radio. I don't know, Stan, are you an RTTY guy? I don't think I have a packet, an AEA PK232, one of the original ones, like serial number 1000, and I may have tried some RTTY stuff. It's a little more complicated than just pounding on the J38. You got to know what way to have things set up and speeds and things like that. So I got to study a little bit more. So Stan may have already made his ready contacts. Let's go over to SWL 72. I bet some other stations we were hearing on 40 meters were out there in Foreland. SWL 73. Now, John's a CW guy, but he might be doing the RTTY contest tonight. Let's see. I've got 74 checked in, Miss Julie, on the 50,000 watt transmitter. SWL 75. SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and 73s, and Happy New Year's to all the listeners. And 77 on the tower, power out of the Tower District. Checking in.
Sounding good. Nice audio as always, and big signal. Thanks for checking in. Pushes that thing on those peaks on the key downs to 40 over. Can you believe it? Let's see. We've got SWL 78. Richard in Wildemar. He'll probably be coming in. I think I heard him on 40 meters on a, I'll have to query him on that, on a emergency, doing the emergency net down there in Wildemar a couple of days ago. Let's see, heard this station earlier, sounded mighty nice. SWL 79.
79, check it in.
All right, sounding good in the OTR neighborhood. Thank you. SWL 80. And we'll turn the page. Before I head up to page 4, let's head over to the Bob and Steve show. They need their own little logo. No, I've got an ID. Where did the ID go? We can use, make sure. Are you guys? Yeah. Let's try the ID for the Bob and Steve show here.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
Whoopee. Well, what is going on over in the Whoopee room tonight? New Year's Eve in the green room green room lounge was packed. Yes, I could not even get in, and I have a pocket protector. They put the word out in the afternoon, 27085, that they had 33 limos available. That is why it was hard to get into the driveway. Pick up and return home from the party. A class act. They are, with the limousines. They stayed busy. Bozo Control took all the calls. I noticed the other phone line was busy all night. It was a fun time for all. Security cameras were turned off. Yes, what happens on OTR stays on OTR. And at the bar tonight, for those of you venturing in Omaha Steaks, big stuff, starting up the year right. Coffee, soft drinks, and of course the Costco card is hosting us all, as it often does. You know what it does? It makes it nice for that year-end, whatever it is, 4% bonus. At least takes a little bit of sting out of everything. Thank you, Bob and Steve, for all that you do here for the Old Tube Radio Network. You've really added a class act, at least on that side of the equipment rack. On this side, well, actually, you know, where is it? Where's the full screen page here? The suit, the suit and the official, there it is, the official OTR shirt and the pocket protector. You know what's going on with the pocket protector? Let's do that now. We've got Allen Radio and Electric, Bridgeport Laundromat. Back in the days where you just couldn't have an electronics store, you have to put it in with the laundromat. So wash your undies and do a little bit of DX. The phone is 65 in Bridgeport, Nebraska. Let's put that into the pocket protector tonight. And now I feel like we're going to check in some radios.
I'm ready for a very special date.
Yeah, well, before we go to page 4, we will call for, let me get the right screen here, SWL 37. Over.
37 checking in, Dennis, and good evening.
Hey, you are sounding good, and we've got you checked in, and I'm heading over to page 4.
Okay, thank you.
And page 4, of course, top of the page, at least in this writing, is SWL 81, Mr. Unicorn, who was out listening in earlier tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network video page.
Can you proxy in 81 tonight?
Yes, I can. In fact, he was in early. He said, give me an early check-in. He was in about 6 p.m., so I chatted with him a little bit, and he's doing well, and we will get him checked in. Thanks.
Yeah, 10-4, thank you. And also, he'd like to pass on the message to the listeners that he has moved out of state to a new location. He is doing very well, and he would like to wish all the SWLs a Happy New Year.
All right, thanks for that information, and we are glad that we can beacon in via the Universal Media Netweb and keep him updated on all the happenings here in beautiful Midtown Fresno, Central California.
Thank you, Dennis.
'81. Let's try 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Iowa. Good evening.
All right, sounding good. I don't hear any RTTY in the background, so you must have broke it.
Yeah, that's not for me.
It's not for a lot of people, but there are people out there doing it.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, thank you, Dennis.
Continuing on with SWL 83, I thought I saw Epimetheus somewhere. Maybe he was over on Old Radio Nights or earlier in on the items here. I'm not sure. I will put a check mark because I bet he is around on the frequency somewhere. Also, I want to say hello to... Oh, there he is, waving a hand from Colorado. I knew you were there. Well, listen in. The band has been opening up here at night. We got Texas last night. And Paul Vine says it's semi-crazy in South Arkansas. That's where all the skips seem to be happening. Out there with BD21, so keep listening in. I think we're a little bit too far for Baltimore on Charlie Hustle 55, but you never know. Out there in Foreland, Keith is listening in from the Rocky Mountain, Virginia. I've been putting up a loop antenna all afternoon. All right, let us know how the loop goes, and I wonder what frequency, or is it just a loop, or are you making it for 40 or 20 or 80? Loops are supposed to be good. They're supposed to be a lot quieter than the vertical. I've got my eye on a loop, or maybe a delta loop. SWL, here's a guy that knows some antennas and works 40 meters a lot. I heard him on 7204, SWL 84. I'm going to get him checked in. He was super busy taking all the West Coast stations on 7204 the other night. SWL 85. SWL 86. And you know what? Let me get 84. I got 84, and we'll get 86, 87, and 88. That's Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl all together. SWL 89. I've got to check in for SWL 90. Trying to let my board catch up here. Over to SWL 91. SWL 92. SWL 93. Get a proxy check in for 93. And let's see, Warthog 95. I did see 95. I scrolled my notes down. And you ought to be there somewhere, right? 95 was in. Okay, I see 95 is in. And SWL 96. SWL 97. Boston 97 is also in waving a hand to all the tube radio operators and SWLs. And there is 91. Okay, SWL 91. I went right over the item. You know why? Because it's new, and I'm not used to looking for 91. Felix is in. Checking in tonight. Thanks, Felix, for being patient. Get you marked in. Let me jump on the 91 button and make it official at the top of the page here, so it gets logged in. There we go. And 83, yep, 83. I saw you earlier, but I'll get you in there again. Thank you, 83. Let's go over to SWL 98.
Checking in, Dennis.
All right, sounding good tonight from south of town here in the Midtown. Thanks for checking in.
All right, you have a great New Year's. Catch you later.
All right, starting off, God, I even chased down some more. I had some more weird interference again, and it turned out to be in the Radio Shack once again, but it took me a couple hours to figure it out. But I'm always glad when I don't have to go out with a portable radio and walk down the street. Let's try SWL 103. SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. This is Carl.
Hey, there he is, the big voice of Auberry on sideband and on AM tonight. Mr. Crawdad, you are sounding good here on the Old Tube Radio Network. We've got you checked in. Over.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, our first check-in on the big numbers. Let's try 110. SWL 111 sounding good from Reedley earlier before he went 10-7. If you're listening on the stream, Bob, we've got you checked in. Heard you fine coming through on the RF side. SWL 113.
113 checking in.
113 is checking in. Sounding good here in Midtown tonight, Tom.
That's not me. I'm sorry. I'm 131.
I was going to say, your signal came way up, so hang on. We're right with you. SWL 114.
114 checking in.
And 114 always sounds good. Wayne, thanks for checking in.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to all the listeners.
SWL 128, John in Fairfax, Virginia, is checking in on the big page. Thanks, John. And I see a note from Stan, who is said he is working. There's another mode I haven't tried, FT4. I've had inklings for FT8. He's working the ARRL RTTY Roundup. Thank you for the official title for what's going on, what we're listening to. And he will start back up in the morning. All right. So 71 has made some contacts. Okay, here we go. This is take two. SWL 131.
Yeah, 131 checking in.
All right, and you know what? Still sounding good. We've got you checked in. Thank you, Mr. Root.
Yeah, it's on a totally different radio now. It's old Sears Road Talker 40.
Sounding good in the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. SWL 133. SWL 135. I have a early check-in via the crossband for Cliff. I have a proxy check-in for 137. And the station sounded good last night on the sideband net, SWL 145.
Proxy 145 in. He's listening on something, either YouTube or whatever.
Listening in on one of the various modes. Could be SWL at 27085, like a lot of us are. Old@tuberadio.net or the YouTube video stream whenever. Tony, we've got you checked in. And be curious on how it goes. I think you were going to get the Elmer tutorial on the 101 or the 101B. Should be good. You've been driving it pretty good, but it's always nice to have a little bit of tech talk and stuff you might not know about. So that should be fun. Let's go up to SWL 195.
195 checking in, Dennis. Happy New Year to y'all.
I don't have any. I guess I should have the 2021 and some noisemakers. All that stuff is next door, across the racks here in the green room tonight. So that's where the celebration is. If I turned off the noise gates, downward expanders, you might hear what's going on over there. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Dennis. Take care.
And a station I can always hear on sideband, but I don't think you can hear me on the AM side out there in Mariposa, SWL 226. Jeff, if you're listening, I heard you last night. I will get you checked in. And anybody else that would like to jump in, say hello, the Old Tube Radio Network listening before we head off to the Tube Radios. Also, hello to our new stations beaconing in from Germantown, Wisconsin. As always, up there in the balcony, I see you brought some goodies from the green room up there. You know, it's always good because if you spill stuff, we don't notice until tomorrow. So you don't have to worry about it. Rockford, Illinois in also as well. Who else? Anybody else before we head on? Well, I'll keep an eye out on the comments, but we do want to check in some tube radios, and we will be doing that in just moments. OTR will be back. Also be checking out our year-end totals for 2020. And before I start the tubes, you are right. You know what? I'm looking here. Neil, who has been on our list for a long time, one of our first digital SWLs. You know, I skipped you, Neil, because your number didn't show up on the, somehow got left off when I printed the list. I don't understand how it can do that, because it's on an Excel thing. So that is weird. All right, I'm making a note here. I'm going to have to totally reprint this list out again. That's SWL 146, Neil. He just says, hey, you skipped me. Says, yes, I did. Because it should be right after Tony. I'm going to pencil it in, but I will have to go back. And I know you were there last week, so I'll make sure that you get the proper X's in the squares and find out why that dropped the box on stuff. All right, I will, let me punch up the official thing. Then I've got to reset the stream. I actually have to reset the stream when I do the tube radios because it's on a different setting for the audio archives. And if I don't reset it, everything gets jumbled up. All right, there it is. There's the official 146 check-in. Thank you, Neil, for noticing that. And I guess that's my one mistake. I was hoping that I would save my one mistake that I get gratis, my one gratis mistake for 2021 for December, but now it's already done. So I've got to be perfect the rest of the year. We'll be back shortly with your tube radios. All right, I may have this figured out now. Let's give it a try on your old tube radio network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yeah, brought to you by a lot of radios. These last 35 years, and hopefully some more radios coming up here, the Old Tube Radio Network for 2021. I'm sure I'll be writing the numbers down. In fact, I had to correct the tube radio list. You can see the little cross off there on the top. We will fix that. Maybe that's my second mistake. No, I made that before. So I'm still good with only one. Oh, also, I was doing some tallies and totals. See, the top 5 radios, top 5 manufacturers checked in. I've got them here. You might, when you check in, give us your thoughts on that. Who might be the most heard radio for 2020? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We heard a lot of them. You know what? The biggest SWL nights were in the end of the year. August 3rd, we had 73 check-ins, and August 29th, we had 80 check-ins. But they typically run about 50 or 55, so I don't know what happens there around those two times. The most radios checked in one evening. We had a lot of 13s, a lot of 14s, and a lot of 15s, and then on November 28th, we made it up to 16 total radios. I would like to see if we can get perhaps 20. We used to do that quite a bit, get 20 radios in one evening, so we'll work on that for 2021. All right, the only way we can do that is if I stop talking. So OTR is standing by listening for your radio check-ins.
45.
And there is our first one. Hello, Paul. Jump up into the air chair, if you will, and we'll find out what you're running. It sounds good.
Okay, I'm talking about Pure Simpson CDB-5. That's Charlie Delta Bravo 5.
Go up to the Rolodex archive under Pierce Simpson and the CDB-5. It says we have a picture. It says from the collection of Paul SWL 45. So no doubt that might look a lot like the radio on which you are talking. Over.
Yeah, I was interested in the radio. Pure Simpson, I believe this is the first one they manufactured. I can't hold into that, but I believe it is. They use the same thing here in the Simpson Companion, almost the same, but larger cabinet. Put this inside it and change it, put a few goodies on it, and call it a Pure Simpson Companion. Anyway, you're interested in the radio. I'll get back to you and go ahead and fill some things on it.
All right, just trying to get the right shot of it here. I like the world map in the background. If we ever make a calendar, an OTR calendar, this would be one of the pictures I think we would definitely want to put on it. 1959 to 1961, yeah. So this would be Pierce Simpson's probably first foray, at least when the Class D citizen radio service popped up in late 1958. The price ran under $200, about $179, $189, which was typical for these radios. A 6-channel crystal controlled transmit and receive. Was that 170 volt and 12 volt power supply? So it might have a transistor in there for the power supply. 11 tube performance super het on the front end, 455 KCIF. Carbon mic, which if you're running the carbon mic, which I think you are, it's actually sounding really good. You don't need to try and repack the carbon in that. It sounds good. And we'll go back to you for a reading. I'll get the S meter on there, see what you're coming in with. Over.
Okay, that was information was in Popular Electronics, and I found that in there. That's the only thing I've been able to find there. Just nothing about this thing, stamps or anything. lucky when this thing wasn't working well. Harvey, I gave it to Harvey, and he fixed it up with no paper at all. Did a magnificent job on it. Thanks, Harvey. Anyway, it's a real neat little radio. I'm proud of it, and like I say, it's just like the companion, but it's just a smaller case. It's definitely set up good for mobile. And by the way, this thing has 7 tubes in it.
But as they say, 11-tube performance with those 7 tubes. Audio is good. There's a slight AC note coming in, but it doesn't affect your audio or my ability to copy you at all. I was just looking over the notes. Our first radio of 2021, the Pierce Simpson, and last year, looks like we checked in a total of 9. So you're definitely off to a good start over.
Yeah, the only thing this gun needs is some lights in the thing. You turn it on, you can't see anything. You got to look through the holes and see if the tubes are lighting up. The orange light, it has this transmit power light on the right-hand top side. That comes on when you key the mic. And that's it. Thank you, Jess.
I see that transmit power. I guess you've got to know somehow that something is happening. The earlier radios, especially the ones under the $200 range, typically would not have 23 channels or an S meter. They would get you on the air though, and this one, as usual, Pierce Simpson had very good designers to keep things simple, but to make them look cool. It even has. Is that Miami, Florida? Is that where they were from at the time? It looks like it's on the front of the item there. Radio number 1 from Pierce Simpson, first radio of 2021, is the CDB5. Have to find out what that meant, the CDB. I bet it meant something. 5 channels, of course, would be the 5. Back to you.
Yeah, it's definitely Florida. Miami, Florida is manufactured there. Which is kind of unusual. I don't think there's many other manufacturers in that area. There may be. I'm probably wrong. But anyway, I love checking it in. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
And thanks for bringing it by. Who was them? Was it Jackie Gleason? Was he out of Miami, Florida? Probably at that time. He had his show, and I think it was on Saturday nights. It probably would have been opposite the old Tube Radio Network. It would have been competing with Jackie Gleason out of Miami, Florida, with the Pierce Simpson. Sounding good. Let me get a couple of stations checked in here. I see Tavia's in. Hello, Jimmy. We got you in earlier because I figured you would be by railroading your way down the old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in. 23 Skidoo at the History Rolodex. Citizen Band Class D. DB5 channel. I think I would go for that, and especially on the early radios, they hadn't figured out. A lot of people were MC27 and 11 something, so that makes a lot of sense. I like that. Hello to Frank says saying hello to the Old Tube Radio Network. Dr. Radio in Detroit. Good to have you on. Needlebender 2811 is saying hello from Sacktown. Hello to Sid Vicious from Eastern Canada. Wow. Well, we're going to need that loop antenna. Who was working on the loop antenna? We're definitely going to need that loop antenna to reach you. The mighty KUH, Brian is trying to stay warm in the radio room tonight. I don't know if you do RTTY contests or not. It might be listening in for that. And with the Old Tube Radio Network is listening for radio number 2.
37. 60.
And I've got it. Chris, step up into the air chair. We'll get you for radio number 2 at 9:08. And then Joe can step into the green room celebration, and we will get you as radio number 3. Hello, 37.
And hello, Dennis, and hello, Joe. You be nice to that antenna out there that's in your bedroom sleeping with you now nights. Anyway, that's WL37 here, Dennis. I want to check in my general radio telephone. The Super MC 11A 24-channel version is here, and we'll run this here with a handheld stock microphone. Over.
Another radio with the stock microphone. General Radio Telephone, the earlier models all use the carbon microphoniums, but I don't believe that one is using the carbon. A carbon, I believe it is a ceramic item of interest. There it is. The Generals did pretty good in 2020. I will say that I'll give away something, that they were in the top 5, of course. And it looks like we had 109 General Radio telephones stop by in 2020, and we've got one already now.
Well, it's the first part of the year. Why not? Even though it is the second. First part of the year and the second radio.
Indeed. Let's see. You've polished that thing up. It's still working well. It's on channel 11. Does the dial light work on that one? On the channel selector?
Oh yes. All the lights work.
Well, I wish I could say that for my radios here. Seems like that's the thing that messes up the most on these things. Is the dial lights. You know, I'm looking over here. I'm making an adjustment. Hold on. I'm making an adjustment on something here. I don't like... Speaking of SWRs, I don't like my SWR. Well, I guess that's as good as it's going to get. I'm over here playing. I probably shouldn't do that. There we go. Shouldn't do that when I'm on the air. Back to you.
Well, that's you. You have to key up to get it set.
That's true. So much for set and forget. Radio number 2, General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. While General Radio Telephone was still the General Radio Telephone and not the Skyhawk Communications, it is 9 tubes for that. The ECLL 800 in the modulator output, the 12AX7A in the microphone preamp, which is sounding good. Give us another transmission, and thanks for bringing it by.
You betcha, Dennis. I'll go ahead and get out of here and let somebody else get in there. So thank you, and I might get back a little while. I might try to check in one more. We'll see what happens with the rest of the evening here. So thank you, Dennis. I'm out, and you can let Joe have it.
All right, we will do that. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. We are right now live on the air here Saturday evening at about 9:11 Pacific Standard Time. Waiting for some conditions possibly, but the conditions are always good for tube radios to check in, and that's why we've been doing this for 35 years. OldTubeRadio.net has the audio stream, and YouTube has a video somewhere, somehow. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Dennis. Thank you much. I hope this thing is a work, and I did a little mic work on this one. This is my favorite radio, the Messenger. And Chris, get off my back, cotton picker. The Messenger, Johnson Messenger 223 with the stock mic.
Stock microphones always sounding good on the AM mode. There is, let's see, Messenger without the modulation light. Very good-looking radio. Yours is sounding good. How did the EF Johnsons do? How did we do? I'm trying to see if I've got a total for 2020 on the EFJs. Yeah, actually, I don't want to spill the beans too much here. If somebody's doing a top 5 list, you never know. But we had 25 Elmer Fudd Johnsons in 2020, and we've got one now.
A good deal. Whether or not we come in last place, I'll never know. But yeah, doggone it, we did a little mic work to it, and being simple, it is simple, very fun radio, and lights, bright lights. That's what I like about it. It looks like downtown Las Vegas when you key it up, but no modulation light. Harvey said it's under there somewhere, and one of these days I'll see it. Maybe I'll get the dark room going and see if I can find that modulation light.
You might be able to add it on the top. Maybe if the circuit's big enough, you could put, instead of a little hole in the case, you could put a giant light somewhere up in the room when you've talk on that, it just flashes up, and everybody will know you are on the air everywhere. Also, let's see, Jimmy says the Old Tube CB Radio Network group on Facebook tonight surpassed the 1,000 members. Wow, not too bad. Thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy does a good job on figuring out how to do such things. It takes a lot of work, but he manages to do it, just like that steam engine going down the track. Thanks, Jimmy, for that. Good news on 2021, and the E.F. Johnson looking good for radio number 3. Key it one more time. I thought I heard a crackle in your microphonium, but let's make sure it's 100%.
Okay, well, we've only worked on one end of the mic. That's the part we're holding. We still got our, I think, working where it's plugged in. I'm not sure. You know, the mic wiring gets old, and I've replaced wires in the microphone itself. But doggone it, if it'll get by tonight, we'll work on the jack.
Yeah, 100% that time, no problem.
Good deal. Okay, Dennis, thank you for letting me check this one in, and we'll get another one in.
Absolutely. And let me, Neil, you probably didn't hear my mea culpa. It was in between changing from SWL to tube radios, but what had happened, and you are absolutely correct, I did skip you because for some reason the 146 got dropped off of my Excel sheet here. So I will go back and reprint these and put you back in, but I will make sure that you get all the check-ins you are supposed to have. I have no idea. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with that. So yes, you are checked in, and I will update the sheet to make sure it's back in front of my face when I check in. Although I should have it memorized. Like I said, Neil has been one of our first, when we started streaming and going digital, one of the first digital SWLs on the list. So he knows when I miss the number. And the Old Tube Radio Network is listening for check-ins. Let's go to, are they there? Yeah, they're having a good time next door. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and over to the Jingle Singers, who are doing what they do best.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
And OTR is standing by looking for Radio 4.
45.
And I think we've got Radio 4. Hello, Paul, can you hear me? Over.
Okay. I'd like to check my Pierce Simpson Escort.
All right, I hear you. Big signal. The audio is down quite a bit, but I'm hearing you 100%. So no problem there. Pierce Simpson, and it looks like, I think you said it was the Escort. Over.
Yes, Escort.
All right, I bring up a picture. I don't know where this is from. Oh, this is the one that has the lights on it, the colored lights. We'll talk about this, the Pierce Simpson Escort. Yeah, you're probably about 50% modulation, but the signal is big, so take a transmission over.
Oh, boy, well, this thing's got all kinds of stuff on it that's really put on the thing. They call it a full gainer. Model CB-1. I guess it's supposed to be the application on the thing because it might wire through it. I don't know. I guess that modulation's not working right now, I would believe. But I can crank it up a little bit, probably mess it all up. Back to you.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of an AC hum, but it just sounds like it's low, so not sure if you're running a microphone that has a battery or whatever, but I hear you just fine, so I don't need to turn anything. Plus, like I said, the signal is good. You're pretty much full quieting coming in, showing the front of the radio. It looks like it almost looks like an AM broadcast radio. It's got a tunable dial across the front and then some type of lights. This isn't the best picture because it doesn't show the lights. And then it's got the meter, which I think is the same meter that's on my Pierce Simpson Guardian 23. It's not really big, but it fits in there okay.
It's got a string tuner in the thing, which I really like. And those are different colored lights on the channel. Every channel you put on there, it changes colors on the thing. I think it's just marked it that way with the glass. But no, it's really a nice little radio. This has been messed with so much. I just turned up my full gainer. Did it help any?
Yeah, brought it up a little bit, but it's still lower than the other radios. But again, I'm hearing you fine. All right, I've got the triple play here. The Escort was the middle radio, the middle selection in the series between the Companion 2, the Escort, which is what you are on, and then the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23, which was their full-fledged 23 transmit and receive. So this is probably a lot like the Guardian in some sense that it just doesn't have the channels on it. And I'm with you. I like that the way they did the 23-channel tunable receiver on that over.
Yeah, but this was manufactured in 1964. Like I said, the Companion was also manufactured in 1964. They were doing a lot of changing around. They really got going with radio here since it started building real good. I was going to try to collect them, and then few other radios fell in my hands instead, so I saved the general radio telephone. But they're really a neat radio. They made quite a number of them, and they improved with every one that they changed. Thank you.
That was, what, 229? I see some other switches on the front. I think if I go to the extreme close-up, I still won't be able to see what they are. But there's the S-meter. Might have been some other things. It's got the same front fire speaker. And if I remember... Oops, what happened to my video here? There we go. So it's doing okay. I'm still not sure whether the audio is a little bit low, but I think you're good to go. Over. Yeah, I said the audio sort of comes and goes with the volume, but I'm hearing you 100%. It's lower than normal. Over.
Okay, the volume's still down, way down. Okay, I get most of that. I said the receiver isn't good on this thing either. This has been kind of a messed up old radio. It just came this way with all this garbage. Got it something mounted on the top of it. I don't even know what it does. He took to the radio. Can't see any improvements at all of the stuff they got on there, but it looks interesting. Back to you.
It does. Okay, and that's Mitch says it has the spot tune and plate load controls on the front. So that's probably what I'm seeing underneath the S-meter there. It looks like some type of a screw control adjustment and maybe another adjustment that way, which obviously they wouldn't give you knobs. And then the spot switch is that's what the red switch on the side is, because you've got to spot your receiver. And once you tune the dial in there to whatever your transmit is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 channels, and one of those little square jewels will light up when you're on whatever channel. How do you know what channel you're on? You've got to label them somehow.
Yeah, because the microphone is a soft microphone on this thing. So one thing good about it, that's about it. All I can say on it. And back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. You will listen to the playback, no doubt, and you'll hear how the audio is sort of coming in and out. It's still there, but about 50% at best. Radio number 4, the Pierce Simpson Escort from their 1964 selection of radios. This would be the middle of the bunch. You wanted to spend about $80 more, you could get the Guardian. If you wanted to save about $60 or $50, you could go down with the companion. So thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, thanks for checking it in. I have one in real good shape. It doesn't have all this garbage on it. Next time I'll check it in. It's a lot thinner radio, and I can hear a lot better on it, too. Thanks again, Dennis.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. Let me go to the close-up again. Yeah, probably the crystal socket there on the front, and then plate and node on the back, which I think is good for that radio. Just needs a little bit more audio on the Old Tube Radio Network. Yeah, Mitch, I was trying to zoom in on the Joule numbers, but because the radio isn't illuminated, hard to tell. But it probably had little stickers or something you could add. I've seen that before, where whatever channel you put in, you go out and put the decal on there. We are putting the decal on the Old Tube Radio Network, looking for radio number 5.
Break OTR.
All right, so we had a break OTR. Let me pick that up. And Harvey, hold on just one. Who was the break OTR over?
The break OTR is 17.
All right, hey, I've got you, and I will get you, let's get you on the SWL mode of operation in the checked-in mode. And then I will inquire as to whether we can put you on the tube radio list or not. Over.
Well, it has tubes, but it may not make the list.
Well, tell us about it. It could be a hybrid, or I don't know. Maybe you're talking on the RCA broadcast band radio with some clip leads.
Not RCA quality. However, this is an FT101EE. It has had some modification done to the audio board.
Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds very good. Also has some good forward movements on the S meter, and the 101 has a lot of online mods, thanks to it being a popular radio for as one of the guys that modded it, Mr. Tim WA1HLR, might have some of those HLR mods, but it sounds good. Over.
Thank you. Thanks, Dennis. Anyway, so a check-in for me. I think I'll try and warm up something here in a minute. Anyway, I turned the carrier back just a pitch.
No, still good. It helped with the audio. Is that you said that's the E or the double E?
It's a double E that's been modified.
All right. I know the E, there was 101. The E was sort of the extra model because it had the, I think you could change the clarifier knob, and there's some other items. The double E, I never knew what the double E, if it had a processor or not, if it was whatever. Most of them didn't work on AM anyway, but that's sounding really good on AM.
All right, just for giggles, there is the processor on.
Okay, go ahead and turn it off. I don't think they work on AM.
Yeah, I think you're right. Anyway, we'll wire something up here and get it warmed up.
All right, sounds good. Hybrid radio, the transmitter side is, the part we are hearing is tubes. So I'm going to go ahead and log in radio number 5, FT101EE from Yaesu, running the, I think it's a 12 BY7 and then the two sweep tubes. I know because on my 101, I drove down to Yaesu in Southern California when they were in the Cerritos area and picked up some tubes. And the DC to DC conversion kit, they were still selling those, and this would have been 1984 or 85, I think. I actually drove down to the factory down there, or their distribution, and picked up the conversion kit because I ran it mobile, and it needed those two transistor conversion kits on the back. And I remember the tech saying, do not cross the wires. He says, make sure you put this in correctly, because if you short the wires out, he said, you will burn out the transformer, and he says, your radio will be gone because we cannot get the transformers for those anymore. So I still remember that. It was like, oh, maybe I don't want to put this in, but I did. It worked, and I ran it mobile. Thanks for Radio 5. Now, Harvey, who is very patiently standing by and may have some item of interest for us. Hello, Harvey, over.
Actually, I sat down. I wasn't standing by. I think I didn't get in last week, didn't get back in time. You had a question about what model number the Sears radio was that was the clone of the Messenger 223.
Yeah, I thought I had an old Sears catalog because it was 1969 or 70 that was in there. They actually sold, I remember they sold antennas and the 2-meter stacked beams and some other things. So I wasn't sure if they gave it a name because I remember it had the Sears Roebuck logo that looked like the little atomic thing, the S and the R. But I couldn't remember what they called it or if they just gave it the number. Because E.F. Johnson had a number for those. There was always like a 3-digit number next to a 3-digit number, so maybe they just gave it that over.
The number was 7535 because when I moved my radios over, it's in a spot in the garage. When I go out to do laundry, I see the radio. Well, it's in a box. It says Sears 7535. Yes, it has the atomic little logo type thing or emblem, and the microphone also had that on there. And I have both, the mic and the radio. That was what Messenger did, E.F. Johnson did for Sears. Now, Hallicrafters did the same thing, and it was a Sears Silvertone 6550, which was the Hallicrafters, close to the Hallicrafters CB17. It looks close to it. The innards are the same, the control knobs are the same, they changed the face slightly, but the two Sears tube radios that I know of, and I'm fortunate to have both of them, the 7535 and the 6550.
There was a song about that in the year. No, that was something else in the year 2525. All right, thanks for the update on that. And then Mitch has got us updated on the EE. The EE on the FT101 was minus the processor. All right, the 101E had the processor. The 101 did not. The EX was minus. The EX was like their budget model, I think, minus the processor, DC supply, some crystals, and it might have been lower power as well. Speaking about old radios, but there aren't tubes. John 128 mentions he picked up his dream CB rig that he couldn't afford in the 70s. Isn't that fun when you think how much you wanted something, and then 50 years later it's like, hey, it's sitting on the desk now. He's got a CPI, the CP2000 plus the control unit. I'm not real familiar with those, but those were in that category with was the SBE and I think Stoner and some of those really expensive, elaborate radios that only that one guy, that one guy way over in the other city had that you wanted. All right, good for you, John. And I bet it looks good sitting on the table. And thank you, Harvey.
Okay, got rid of the ping a little bit. The 6550, for anybody that wants to look, Sam CB10, and the Messenger 223, the 7535 Sears, is in CB27. And it actually has a switch or two on the front that the 223 didn't have. I'm not sure if there are two switches, but there's at least one. A rocker switch horizontally under the speaker. Okay, I'll check in the radio a little later.
All right, very good. We are looking for radio number 6. Anybody want to guess in the top 10 radios that checked in, the top 10 manufacturers by order of appearance? what Radio 10 might be. What was the 10th most checked in radio of 2020?
I'm going to have to throw...
What was your selection, Eric?
E.F. Johnson, of course.
All right, E.F. Johnson is on the list. E.F. Johnson is on the top 10 list, but they are not number 10. Number 10 was the Gem Marine. The PowerMate was, I think, probably the model that checked in the most, but for the Gem Marine radios were the 10th most heard in our top 10. To help people out who are guessing, the manufacturer that didn't quite make it to the top 10, just barely out of the top 10, Chris, the Buddy Bass, the Lafayette's, Demcos, Regencies, Polycoms, all just didn't quite squeeze into the top 10. We are looking for Radio 6.
As far as the Buddy Bass, I'll be fixing that soon.
It's trying. Speaking of trying, the old Tube Radio Network jingle singers are trying something out here.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Listening for radio number 6. Hello, Joe. Over.
Hello, Dennis. Well, I hope I'll get over that little carrier or whatever it is. Anyway, I'd like to check in my, I guess it's an 11.2, my Robin. I hope I'm getting over that carrier, Dennis. But anyway, the T123B, the Robin T123B.
You are looking good. I don't hear anything but you. So, no problems getting over whatever we need to do. I'm looking for a shot of the Robin T123B, and I'll put that up, but take a transmission.
Yeah, my RX Lights is telling me that I'm on key now. The old TX light is a shining, and I guess my modulation light is blinky, blinky, blink. But anyway, I'd like to check it in what am I, radio number 6?
Your Robin is the 6th radio, the Robin T123B of 2021 here on the Old Tuber Radio Network. Over.
Great. Good deal. Hey, okay. Well, I just wanted to jump in there, and I've got a project going. I'm working on another radio, and I hope this one is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and you've got a good copy on me.
It's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and you are sounding excellent. There's, for those at oldtuberadio.net or on the video, there is the Robin T123B, a representation of what Joe is sitting in front of. The Robins did make the top 10 list last year. In fact, they were pretty popular radio. Any guess where the Robin might have showed up on the top 10?
I don't know. You're probably asking the wrong guy here. doggone it, we were keeping some kind of records at one time, but who knows where that paper was. I'm not very good at that. But anyway, this is a saxophone. I mean a lollipop, a D104 lollipop, and that's about it. I just hope we're getting through what it looked to be like a little carrier. But anyway, we'll give it a shot.
No problem. Someone might be checking their thing out in the demi load or something, but you are sounding good here. The Old Tube Radio Net Control. The Robin doing good for radio number 6. And Robins fared pretty well last year. They showed up as number 3 with a total of 82 checked in of various flavors. So they got one all ready to go thanks to you.
Thanks a whole lot there, Dennis. Yeah, we're kind of proud of this radio. And the fact that it has some modifications to it, we get at least another 10 channels probably on this one, and it's always fun to operate. Okay, Dennis, thanks a whole lot for letting me check it in.
Yeah, well, if it gets channel 36, you'll have to figure out a way to do a little product detector, or take a walkie-talkie and you throw a carrier when the sideband is on. And you might be able to hear the sideband. It sounds good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thank you, Dennis.
And I'm just listening to see if that band sounds like it's Skipland coming in or not. I don't know. We just don't have the conditions like JT gets. But then again, I don't have the world's longest ground rod and the big shockwave antenna. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
45.
Hello, Paul from the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Yeah. Well, I can hear a little bit better on this one. This is my Sonar Model E.
Another classic radio from the early 60s, although Sonar made radios. They even made them up through the 40 channel era. Let me see if I can find, and I will confirm that is the Model E as in Echo. Over.
Yeah, I know you got it in there. I don't think it's mine, but you got one in there. There it is. Yeah, that's the one I'd like to have that meter on the top of that thing. This one doesn't have any meter on it at all. Anyway, this is a Model E rated Sam's number 2. They had one, which I don't have. This is a revised one. It came out in Sam's 4. They changed two different things. I don't really know what they improved, whether it's helping it or not, because I don't have the other one. But apparently it's working well, so back to you.
Working good. Nice audio on this. Another 8-channel radio. You're giving us the early radios that people would spend, and around $200 for it. That was, back in 62, 63, that was actually, what's the equivalent of that? $800 or $900 now? Probably even more. So it was a bit of an investment to jump out and get a Citizen Band radio. I think you probably had to decide whether you were going to get that new, 21-inch console TV from Montgomery Ward's, or you're going to get yourself a CB radio. Sounds good. Take another transmission.
Okay. Well, like I said, this thing came out in Sam's number 4, so you know pretty well what's going on. It has 9 tubes, 8 transmit crystals, control channel with 8 crystal control receive. So they had a lot of crystals in this baby. It's an older one. I like the way they work. I like the big crystals. Anyway, it's nice, good looking radio. Gold colored case. Well ventilated. It's just a quality radio, as both Sonars were. Back to you.
Yeah, and Sonar was making radios for other frequencies as well, and I guess it wasn't that difficult to jump down to 11 meters and get in on that. Believe it or not, the Sonar radios were in our top 10 list of 2020. Do you want to take a guess where the Sonars fell in the top 10?
Well, I really like them. They're pipe number 3.
Good guess. They are number 5 on the list. They just edged out the E.F. Johnsons that were number 6. 27 heard last year, 25 E.F. Johnsons, and we've got we've got an E.F. Johnson and a Sonar this year, so they're neck and neck in 2021. You are sounding good. Take another transmission on the Sonar Model E.
Okay, you can't see this. It's got a handle on this thing. That one, the picture doesn't have a handle. It's really a well-made, heavy handle. So it was definitely for mobile use. Real excellent quality like everything else. Thanks again, Dennis, for checking it in.
Indeed. I've got the extreme close-up picture, and I think this is from Cliff's collection. There's the microphone on the side. I thought maybe it was on a bracket or something. Looks like it's sitting on... No, I can't tell. I thought maybe it was sitting on a bracket, so let me stop moving the picture around and people get motion sickness here. It has the crystal-controlled transmit as per the FCC, the tuning knob there for your all 23-channel receive, and has a way that you can pop in a crystal if you want to do that as well for the receiver. Radio number 7, the Sonar Model E, sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thanks. Also, this has a Sonar microphone, a side handheld microphone. Thanks again, Dennis.
And hello, who else is in? Hello to Popcorn and 913. Anybody else join us? And Joe is in 433 out there from Joe Built Amps, keeping everybody waiting for cycle 25, right? Popcorn 913, Monkey Wards, Montgomery Wards. They had, J.C. Penney had radios, Sears had radios, and Wards had radios. What's the one that Cliff has it? I think it actually was sold through Montgomery Wards. It had Aircastle. I think Aircastle was their name for probably a Fanon radio that was sold through Montgomery Wards. Burstein, Appleby, everybody wanted to get a little bit of that CB action in the 1960s. And let's see, here's a question. What were the one-hit wonders of 2020, the rarely heard rigs that graced us with an appearance? Yeah, let me see. I may have some info on that. One-hit wonders. Well, I would say, although they have many hits, I was going to put ETC in that thing. Let me see if I can find... we didn't get as many realistics. I got about 4, and they were all the Regency, the Range Gain, Palomar. There's another one. We had a couple of those. T-Berries. Not as many T-Berries. They didn't make the top 10. And they were... Well, let's see. Lafayette's had 6. Demco's with 6. Less than that. Miratel... Polycom had 6. ICO only had 2 ICOs last year. And Allied, Knight. There's, of course, the Bullet Hole Special, the Unknown Radios. We don't know the title of, so there were a few. But 2021 is early. They could redeem themselves.
Question?
This is the question frequency. Go ahead.
I've heard of the Bullet Hole Radio. Can I get a refresher on that story?
I wish I had it. It's probably in the archive somewhere. If I try to even do it, I'm going to do it wrong.
No, something
That is, I think it's Steve. Steve is probably going to have to, he's probably watching. You may have to type up, pre-type up a little bit on the bullet hole special and dump it in on us on a chat next week. And Mitch, the Cardon Spitfire, I don't think, I'll have to check with Cliff if he even checked that in 2020. I'll have to go back to my lists because some of the ones didn't make it on here, but that would definitely be a one-hit wonder, but I think he's got it. And like Eric says, whatever happened to that bullet hole special? You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network 2021, still going strong. How did that happen?
You're listening in the latest style
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Looking for radio number 8. And the ARL RTTY roundup still going on. Here's 75 meters. Around 3590. A lot of activity going on. Yeah, that's the first digital. There's a big signal. I'm not good at tuning it in, and I don't know if you're supposed to be upper sideband or lower sideband. I don't have my little RTTY tuner. Let me know when I'm on center frequency, but it's, boy, it is hopping. This portion of the band is usually dead. You can hear them starting up there. And I'm not sure what the contact is on an RTTY FT4. That's what's going on some of the other bands tonight. We're looking for radio number 8.
Sounds like the low banders got into the RTTY and the other digital stuff.
Yeah, there's a ARRL contest going on this weekend for RTTY. Or RIDI for the guys that do it, or that do it all the time. Let's go back to the list. Top 10. Number 10, the Gem Marine Products. Checking in 2020. Number 9, Cobra. I think the Cam 88 was probably the most heard version of that. Radio number 8 on the top 10 list, Courier. At 12, Gem Marine at 10, Cobra at 11. Radio number 7, 7 on the list, I should say. 7th most heard manufacturer, Hallicrafters at 18. As we mentioned earlier, the E.F. Johnson's at 25. Sonar's just edging out the E.F. Johnson's to be in the top 5 at number 5.
Sonar, what's what they called the Baby Yasu? Or I know one gentleman used to call it that.
Yeah, the FS, that's a Sonar I'm showing there. That's a Model E, but the Sonar FS30 or the 3023 had the gray case with the black knobs, and I think it reminded. It was Everett. Yeah, it reminded Everett, who had a lot of the FT 101 series. I think it reminded him of the layout of that. Let me see if I've got a 3023 in the mix here as usual. It says no picture available, even though there is a picture available. So let me bring that picture up, because that's the one that I think he would often refer to, and it has that larger front end on it. Here we go. There it is. Yeah. So if anybody's got a 101 series, with the silver and the black knobs, the gray with the silver stripe on it, kind of has that look.
Hey, Dennis, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a minute and remember Everett. He was a hell of a nice guy. I knew him, and many of those listening did. Anyway, I just remember that you're absolutely right. He was the one that coined it the Baby Yesu.
Yeah, he's on one of the retired SWL numbers, SWL 8. You wonder why we don't call some of the numbers. Some of them aren't on the list, and some of them, like the football jerseys or the basketball jerseys or whatever, they get retired into the Hall of Fame. And as Eric was saying, Everett was one of those who had, I don't know, dare I say, hundreds of radios. Would always take time out on Saturday evenings to share them with us. Always seemed to have some really, really rare ones like the Demco Star and others. Took the time and the effort, even though he said he never would do it. Got his ham radio license. So yeah, we definitely miss number 8, and pretty much had been with us checking in radios at the start back in the mid-1980s. The Old Tube Radio Network. We are looking for radio number 8.
17.
And 17, go ahead, over.
All right, I'd like to dedicate Radio 8 to Everett. This is my Courier Royale with the originally supplied handheld microphonium.
Courier Royale, the Couriers, they almost made the top 10. Oh, no, they were in the top 10. They were number 8 on the list. Of course, the Royale was their top-of-the-line radio, and I think it still holds the record. Who was it? I think it was Jim that had... he had 3 Royales, and he managed to figure out how to check them all in correctly in less than a minute. So I think for one manufacturer, that may be the top of the line. We've got our first one of the year. Back to you.
Thank you. I may have been listening the evening that quick coax switching was going on.
And I grab a picture of the Royale, and that was their top-of-the-line radio. Might have been their last tube radio as well. Pretty much all functions, S-meter. In theory, there's a version that has the mic gain, and you might tell us if you have it or not, a mic gain on the back or maybe not at all. But some of them have mic gain controls, but I don't think they're on the front of the radio. Over.
I have never found a mic gain on this radio. However, I don't think I've needed one. Anyway, the receiver is awesome, and that Collins mechanical filter helps out a bunch.
Yes, it does. Who was it? It was Brian, 49, who was having... that's why he was checking in on sideband. He pulled out one of his radios that had the Collins mechanical filter in it, and he was getting some interference, I guess, from fluorescent lights or something. There's just total wiping out his AM. But when he pulled out the the radio with the Collins mechanical filter, it all went away, and he was able to check in. And I think some of them did and some of them did not, and the ones that did, it was actually in the back. So it sounds like it's something was added, or there was a circuit in there. It's like, well, we don't have any room on the front, in this production run, so let's let's pull a knob in the back, because we've got some room there, and at least we'll give you a mic gain. But you are correct. You do not need a mic gain with that. Stock microphones work. Amplified microphones work as well. And like you said, one of the better receivers, holding its own up with the Brownings and Trams, no doubt.
Well, our conversation prompted me to look at the back of the radio, and sure enough, there is a modulation pot on the back of the radio. It's been maxed out its whole life, it looks like.
Probably adjusted for whatever microphonium was with the radio. Sometimes you'd adjust it for a power mic turned up all the way, and then you put in the stock mic and you can't hear anything because it was adjusted or shall we say misadjusted. Sounding good. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to mosey on over to the channel selector. So when you unkey, take a 10-second transmission. We'll find out how the crystals are working in that thing. How close on frequency you're at. Go ahead.
Very well. For a long time. Who knows what happened and where the crystals drift or follow. Anyway, I did take a set of crystals from a general radio telephone that weren't cooperating on transmit channel 11, right where we're at. And after about 4 bounces on the bench, it actually started to transmit again. So you never know. Bench checks work.
Yeah, it's like those old carbon microphones. You got to shake them up a bit. All right, I managed to reach on over, and 27085.6. So I think you're within that 700 cycle range that the FCC wants you to have. So it hasn't drifted too bad in all these years.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Radio number 8 online with us now, the Carrera Royales, one of the top 10 manufacturers heard in 2020. Trying to make sure they stay on the list for 2021 with the Carrera Royale. Thanks, Eric. Back to you for transmission.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate what you're doing.
It's almost that time to do a little counting and amounting here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
Wow, that's loud.
I couldn't tell if they just needed some time to go gargle some salt water, or if I should check in a radio here.
You could check in a radio as we're counting and amounting, and the list is still open for radio number 9, I believe.
9, perfect. How about a Robin T123 with no other letters after that?
That'll work. We earlier had the 123 Bravo. I'll find the 123 since it is definitely different on the list. And the Robins were in our top 10 lists for 2020. In fact, the Robins were in the top 3 during 2020 with 82 check-ins, putting them actually in the 3rd position.
I wasn't even going to bring that up. I kind of had a sneaky feeling that the Robins were going to be way, way, way down on the list, but I'll take that. That's not bad. I think I've always been kind of partial to the Robins, especially this one, because it was my very first glow-in-the-dark radio. It's a T123 that I've used in the AC configuration, which of course I'm doing right now. DC as well. It's great on the road. I wish I was doing it right now, but not going to happen right now. It's cold up in the mountains, and I actually almost did take this up there a few days ago to see if it would work on my little lookout, McGee Lookout. It's kind of on the way to Sequoia National Park, but it gets good coverage over the valley. But not going to do that right now. It's a little warmer in the radio lounge than in the mountains.
A little more comfortable. The likelihood of getting frostbite while you're checking in the Robin T123 is definitely not a possibility, I don't think. Radio number 9 online with us now. You heard it moments ago, and it will be back again. Running in the 115-volt AC configuration. It will go mobile if you have the right power cord. And we make the little vibrator buzz when you plug it in correctly to the 12-volt system.
That's something I'm going to have to address at some point in time. I don't remember this thing making any horrific noises when it was in the DC mode of operation. This doesn't have a vibrator in it, does it?
No, you are correct. It does not. It probably has the transistors, the 2 transistors in it. It's 11 tubes. The 2 transistors are what provides the DC. I'm thinking of my Regency Imperial. It does make the buzz.
Okay. It's funny. When I was looking at my Gonza G11 that does have the vibrator in it, I think I was kind of looking around at components for that, and I think there were some modern equivalents that could actually take the place of an old noisy vibrator. I think I remember seeing that, but this one doesn't make that much inappropriate noise. I think there is a little bit of hum going on, and I'm sure it's off frequency a little bit, but it's great because it was my first radio, and I think it's the one that's broken down the least.
Don't let it hear you say that. Yeah, that's the transistors. That's what I was talking about earlier with my FT101. I had to go get the conversion, the DC to DC converter kit. And that's the 2 big transistors that go on the heatsink on the back of the radio. So, got a Robin, got 2 Robins on the list tonight. So right now, it's very possible the Robins are the most heard radio for 2021, but that will change.
All right. Well, since you put it that way, we're going to add another Robin then on that list. A 123B is in Bravo, which I'm talking on right now. Thank goodness for the instant on-the-air feature.
Oh, which it has. A very ingenious item that a lot of the shortwave receivers would use to keep things from drifting away or drifting on frequency. Get your, have it ready to go so you wouldn't have to chase, your CW or your RIDI station across the band. Sounding good. Radio number 10, the Robin T123B. Robins were the 3rd most heard radio of 2020. The Generals were the 2nd most heard radio of 2020 with over 100 of them checking in, 109 to be exact. And that leaves us to wonder, perhaps, what the most heard radio of 2020 was.
Okay. Well, shall I make a couple of random comments here?
This is the random comment frequency. Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know if I got distracted for a minute. I didn't know if we needed to let the jingle singers go. First of all, I think there was a comment made a couple hours ago about a visit to a particular radio station in Connecticut, I think it is. I did go rushing in to try and go find my delightful ARRL handbook that has a call sign, custom call sign engraved in there, and all that good stuff that I thought I had for, maybe a couple years, something like that. And I dug it, I found it again, and that was 2014. So that was more than just a couple of years ago. So I'm embarrassed that it's been around that long. But I guess the older you get, time flies. So that was nice. I think the other comments I can make on this particular radio, the 123B, the 123A, or excuse me, just the plain old 123 I've taken on the road, AC, DC. It's great. It's been all over the place. And like I've said several other times, whatever you do, pay attention, Robin owners. Don't use your DC power cord for your 123, nothing else. Don't try and use that DC cord on a 123B, because they are incompatible, and if you try and do that, it's going to make your 123B really, really, really unhappy. So in this random stack of just completely dust-covered items of radio interest, I did find the price I paid for discovering that you can't use the DC power cord from a 123 on the 123B, and that would be a $96.85 mistake. And I don't know, maybe I'm sure Harvey could elaborate more on this, but after I made that mistake, it looks like I had to do two 6BL8s at $3.50 each for a grand total of $7. 3 6BA6 tubes, $3.50 each. One 12AX7 for $9. Looks like I had to buy 4 6BQ5s, $12 each. 2 6G, what is this? 6GH8, $3.50 each, and one 12A77 for $7. That's $88.50 with priority mail and insurance for $8.35. Again, grand total of $96.85 from good old Alan at Tubes Plus. So heed my little piece of advice here. It's about the only worthwhile technical thing I can offer everyone here. Don't use power cords on different radios. Doesn't work out.
Especially when they're not the same manufacturers. You could probably switch a Robin T123B with some of the other Panasonic chassis stuff, because they were the same. But yeah, the 123 and the 123B, different animals altogether. Well, it sounds like no wonder it works so well. It sounds like you got pretty much a retube in the bargain and didn't lose any type of an unobtainium transformer, which is what the guys at Yaesu told me when I was putting in the DC conversion about not wiring it wrong. He said, just don't do that. So at least Alan and the crew were able to fix things up. All right, sounding good story. Radio 9 and 10, Robin, the T123 from pre-1972, and the T123B, which we've been hearing the last transmission from the 1972 to 1976. Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. I can't believe I've been on the air on this thing since October of 2012. That's when all the tubes were purchased. So, well, maybe it was, by the time they got installed, it was November of 2012. But there it is. Thanks for letting me check it in. It's great to kind of huddle up next to these warm radios on such a cold evening. But thanks for letting me check it in. I appreciate it. And 73 from the Radio Lounge.
All All right, thanks for bringing it by. The jingle singers are pointing to the clock and saying it is time for their famous song that they often do at the end of the program.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Counting and amounting, and there still is room for a radio or a check-in or two before we sign out.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good because I'll keep my space. Let's put Radio 11 as SWL7. We'll do the little 7-Eleven thing, and Harvey, don't go away. Hello, Mr. Ed.
Oop, it's crunching again. Yep. Oh well. Without the Robin T123 Nobi winking and blinking eye.
It's the Phantom Robin. The Grinch that stole Christmas often finds itself in the Robin radio, and we'll make that Radio 11. Again, the Robins were in sort of third place all by themselves in 2020, and I see they're trying to fly out of the nest and maybe bump the Generals out of number 2, and you probably don't even need to guess who was the number 1 radio. Take another transmission on the Robin.
Well, there we go. I think maybe if I grab it in a little different spot here, I get a little better connection. Anyway, thanks for taking this radio. I had a bunch of noise come up over here, and I couldn't hardly hear anything, so only one radio tonight.
Hey, not a problem. One radio is a good radio for the Old Tube Radio Network, and you got 51 more chances to do one radio. Even if everybody just did one radio a week or one radio a month, OTR control would be quite busy. Thanks for bringing it by. It sounds great.
Thank you.
A radio a week is all you ask.
Yeah, I would say that, but I'm sure the Google bots would give me some copyright infringements from the almond growers here in California. Hello, Mr. Harvey, over.
Hello, number 20 here. Check in my Browning R2700 and S9 with unamplified D104.
Johnny, get smooth audio on that. Not the ping would belie one that there's going to be this super loud Browning. You know how Browning can get, but it's mellow and it sounds good. I could talk to you all night, even though the ping would drive me crazy.
It drives me crazy too. Yeah, and I unfortunately have a few of these. Anyway, well, no, I'm fortunate to have them though. Okay, and this, of course, has the Vox and normal switch, and the Vox works. We're not going to do it right now, but I do like it, and it does function, and I'm happy with it. Okay, we'll catch you next week. And that should do it for me.
All right, very good. And the one thing I'll say about the ping, so don't get away because I want to hear it again. It's very smooth and very mellow. It's not the real screechy ping. So even though it's elongated, it still has a very sweet tone to it.
Yeah, yes, it does. However, I could make it screechy. I've been trying to not make it screechy, and I think there was someone else out there.
Well, I would say something about the not screechy frequency, but we already know that. All right, thanks for Radio 12, the Browning R2700 S9 combination from the very early 60s, perhaps, maybe even 1959, I'm not sure.
1959.
A great year for tail fins and your tube radios, OTR counting and amounting.
Break for Harvey.
got a quick question for you about transistors. Over.
I hate them. What's your question?
Well, my question is, if I have a transistor, does that mean she was once my brother?
That depends on which state you live in.
Okay, thanks, Harvey. Thank you, OTR.
You knew Harvey would have the right answer. All right, I want to go over to the green room and have some fun before it's all over. So if they will open the microphone, thank you, and do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals for January 2nd, 2021. 12 total radios tonight. The most heard radio of 2020, of course, Brownings. Let me quickly go down the list of what I had checked in. 154 Brownings checked in, followed by 109 Generals, 82 Robins, 38 Trams, 27 Sonars, 25 EF Johnsons, 18 Hallicrafters, 12 Couriers, 11 Cobras, and 10 Gem Marines. That was a top 10. Of course, Chris Buddy, Lafayette Demco, Regency, Polycom, etc. Also checking in, but we like them all, even the one-hit wonders as well. Tonight in 2021, we had, 15, 17, 15, 25, wow, on 72 SWLs. The most SWLs checked in 2020 shows up as 73, and we had 72 tonight, so we're pushing the limit. We're pushing the limit already. Most heard radio tonight. The Robins really want to be number one for 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4 Robins tonight. Definitely taking the list. So speaking of the list, let's see what we got before we jump out of here. Starting with the Pierce Simpson. Pierce Simpson doing pretty good tonight. We heard a couple of them. How many did we have last year? We may have had as many this year as we had last year. I think the Pierce Simpsons... I already lost my list, huh? Oh, the Pierce Simpsons showed up last year with 9. We got 2 tonight. Paul came by with the CDB5. And what was Mitch saying? It says if this rig was made today, it would be the CBD. But it's a CDB5. Radio number 2, Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Generals came in at number 2. The EF Johnson Messenger 223 from Joe, they made the top 5 list at number 6. The Pierce Simpson Escort was radio number 4 from Paul. Radio number 5, the FT101EE. Yeah, it's tube transmitters. That's what we were hearing, the transmitter side on the tubes. A classic. When we didn't allow them 30 years ago, they weren't even 30 years, they're 30 years older now. But I'm glad he got that fired up. And it sounded great. Must have had the Timtron audio mods on there. I used to use one for net control back in the day when we were talking to Visalia, when they had an old tube radio thing going. Radio number 6, Joe on the Robin T123B. The Robins, as I said, were number 3 for 2020. The Sonar Model E was the radio from Paul, number 7. Sonars came in number 5 in 2020. The Courier Royale from Eric is radio number 8. The Couriers came in number 8 out of the top 10 last year. And then it was a lot of Robins. The T123 from Mike and his T123B for radios 9 and 10, radio 11. Mr. Ed on the Growler, the Robin that says, "Get out of my nest," of radio 11, and then the Browning R2700S9, yes, the most heard radio of 2020 for radio 12. And that's what I got. Anybody else here on the Old Tube Radio Network? And I think that's it. The RTTY contest, is going on your amateur radio. There it is. Should be on tomorrow. who was doing some RTTY tonight? Stan's working the contest. He's doing FT4. He said he'll start back up in the morning. I don't know if they use that different frequencies on the FT8, FT4. They're up a ways, but sounds like a little animal calling for help. But that's what's going on. Your Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, everybody. We made it to 2021, and we are looking for a lot of radios, thanks to you.
Good show, Dennis. And Phil, good one.
Good night, Dennis.
And I did track down yet another weird interference in the Radio Shack tonight. It's kind of, I didn't think I would make it because it was actually interfering with this frequency. Turned out it was from a computer and an interface cable.
Finding the gremlin as you turn off the radio is actually a very good thing. Good night, Dennis. Thank you.
Yeah, it was one of these pulsing things that goes on, and every 15 seconds it does this, and every 45 seconds it doesn't. I thought for sure it was probably some type of a solar panel function, but it's always nice when you find out. Well, it's not nice, but it's comforting to know when you turn everything off and you think it's coming from the Radio Shack. So it's up to me to fix it rather than, go to the neighbor and say, you know what? So that's why it got fixed. And there's some, that's the real deal. I don't have my program up, and I don't have the decipher. I wish I had my screen. I probably could have deciphered probably somebody sending a message to OTR.
So you could actually hear that too.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
And let's see. Keith, I won't transmit.
That's awesome.
We got the radios in the background. I agree. I found some of those. There's like 3 one-hour videos from John Kruk. There is a big load of manuals that you have to download.
That's what it would sound like.
Here they all are. Here's like the Wires X. Where is it? Yeah, the Wires X manual, and then the firmware updates, and the SC20 driver thing, and that is what was making the interference. Another Wires X thing. Here is the APRS. Here's another Wires X thing, and that's not to mention the book that comes with the thing. But anyway, I'm messing up here. I got the Wires X set up in the radio. I registered everything. I got the node, the email back. What didn't I do? I haven't really made a contact on it yet, and I haven't become a node.
All right, it is getting late, but W6OTR, KJ6EQB.
Let me give you a warning here. Where is it? This cable, which you can't see, but that's the SC20. That is what was causing major interference on my radio when I plugged it into the laptop down here. And what it was is every 15 seconds it would put out this burst of hash from
You have
20,
to call them in RTTY.
from 20 megahertz. From 20 megahertz to 30 megahertz. And every 15, at 45-second intervals, it would put out this 15-second burst of hash at about S9 just across the band. So it took me a while to figure out that it was the link from the fourth 100 into the computer just throwing hash. I even went up on the roof, 60 feet away from the radio room and put the portable, I was chasing it down with the portable radio up to the antenna that has the Starduster, and I could hear it only when I was in the antenna. So I figured it's generating coming out of the radio room. So be careful if you do the SC20 link up. You may need some ferrites, or make sure the USB cable is in.
Every weekend.
So yeah, I can get into the rooms and see that. So it's easy going from like a radio to a repeater and back in. It's a little bit more if you're going to be a node and go through the SC20, which is not where I'm at right now. Yeah, just the main thing is try and find, I think you might have to go to the ASU and pull down the node nippers and look in the cities near you and see if, unless you already know some club members or something that say, yeah, we've got a Wires X link. For some reason, this area has very little. I mean, this is a fairly big metropolitan area, and I'm very surprised it has very little activity. So, in fact, you're hearing the crossband now, the guys.
Well, that's spectacular. And again, congratulations.
That's the 2-meter, which I have piped in. So if I go over to
43.
That's the weather channel. There's a simplex channel. This is one of the links. I can link it up. It just linked into the repeater. You can go into the repeater. I can go into all, which shows all the rooms. And then it has to load them, and then it shows you how many people are on each room. Now, some of these, like 164, how many stations, that's not how many people, but how many stations are linked in. So here's CQ Canada. Let me just kick into that one, see if anybody's talking. Oops, I think I hit the wrong one. Let's try this again. Maybe I'll link up. Nothing, all right. One more. Oh, you know what? Touch and hold. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily have to be anybody on that, but that's the deal. So I have a local place that I can get in. But I was going to try and link it up with the SC20 and wacky things happen. On 440, yeah. See, this radio does 2 meters and 440, so. Let me get out of this here. I think I'm out of it. All right, well, that's what's up. So I thought maybe in the not so distant future, maybe not so future, I could set up a room that would link in through that radio into here. But we will see once I get through the 900 pages of manuals. Let me go back to the other radio. Oops. So many buttons, so little time. You can hear the RTTY guys coming through.
Good for you for doing that. And is this a new site, or have you had that domain for a while?
All right, so we'll try something.
Actually, I've had it for a couple years.
So we'll see. Once you get things linked up, we can probably pick any one of the other rooms and give it a try. I have yet to transmit. I've just been listening. I've yet to key the microphonium and make a fool of myself. Good night, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network.
No, not really. You know, the problem with web pages nowadays is the bots.
And what have we got? Let's find out with. Wait, it's just busy. There's usually nothing down this part of the band, so that's your. Who knew there was so much RTTY going on the amateur frequencies? There might be some people talking out there tonight too. I don't know. Everybody's.
You don't like SWR, so you got to keep the SWR flat, or you've got problems. Go ahead.
Everybody's probably just glad they made it to 2021. Catch you next week on the L2 Radio Network. Okay, yeah, maybe in another week I'll have this figured out. I'll have the proper information to talk to. It's just that SC20 cable really threw me for a loop, and then I realized, I didn't have this interference days ago, and then I had to start thinking, that's because I just put this stuff in there. Good night, Ray. Good night, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network.
Everybody suffers from a massive case of CRS.